What a load of shit.
Everyone, I'm Dig.
Yep, that's me. You're probably wondering how I ended up in this situation.
So it's been about 8 months since my last storytime video, and it was probably the most embarrassing one I've ever made so far. But here I am again with another story for you all. But in this video, I'm actually going to talk about why I started doing storytime animations in the first place. Now you probably look at my videos and you probably think,
oh wow, another totally original storytime animator. I bet he's only doing these types of videos because of the odd ones out.
and to that I say, ha! I didn't actually know that storytime animation was a thing until secondary school. In fact, it wasn't until year 9 until I found out what storytime animation was. And it involves my friend Libby, who's actually appeared in a previous video. So without further ado, let me explain. So from year 7 to 8 I created my main art style that I'm using now. But at the time, that's all it was, a style, just drawings, no animation yet. It wasn't until year 9 that I started getting interested in animation. I had an all new timetable, new classrooms, and by some coincidence, I ended up in a class with a girl named Libby. Before we were in that class, we never really spoke to each other. But since we were in the same class, as well as being sat next to each other, we obviously talked to each other. Now in full honesty, I did kinda like her. She's a really kind and sweet person, and since we started talking again, I did develop more feelings. It just didn't help that I was a nervous wreck every time I sat next to her. Anyways, one day in class we had a supply teacher, so we didn't really have to focus on the lesson. I was just sitting there drawing, minding my own business, and next to me Libby was watching a video on her phone. I turned and asked, "Hey, what's that you're watching?" "Oh, I'm just watching some Odd Ones Out." "The Odd Ones Out? Who's that?" She ended up showing me who the Odd Ones Out was, as well as let me explain studios. She seemed a really big fan of the storytime animation genre. And then, it happened. I thought to myself, so, I've got this art style that I've developed for the past 2 years, and my crush likes storytime animations. I'm gonna be a storytime animator! At the time, I literally had no idea what I was going to do. All I knew how to do at that time was just draw. I did a bit of research on how to animate for beginners, and then I stumbled across an app called Clip, which is currently what I use now. I messed around with it a little, practiced a few drawings, and I ended up making my very first animation ever. And it was terrible. I didn't really know what I was doing, it was just really a practice animation. But little did I know, it was the first step towards a bright future. After a few months of practicing and getting some encouragement off a few friends, I finally made my first storytime animation. And I was nervous as hell. I sound like a robot in my first few videos. But hey, it worked and she loved it. She even subscribed to my YouTube channel. It didn't work out. I just ended up in the friend zone. But it wasn't all bad though. I ended up actually really enjoying making these types of videos. So I made another one, and another one, and another one, and a whole bunch more of these videos. And here I am now, 400 subscribers. I can't believe that I've actually made it this far on YouTube. I know it might not seem a lot to other YouTubers, but to me, it's quite an achievement. That was the real reason I decided to make storytime animations. Once again, thank you all for 400 subscribers, and I'll see you all in the next video.